Right, perfect. I'm calling this meeting to order at 4:35 p.m. And we're going to start off with a territorial acknowledgement. I'd like to respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we're currently situated on occupied territories. We are now going to move on to roll call of attendance, starting with myself. My name is Zaid Lari. I'm your chair today. My pronouns are he, him, his, and my accessibility needs are met. First off, we have our representative for Bachelor of Environment.
Hi, Bradley. He, him, his pronouns. Accessibility needs are met.
Thank you. Behavioral neuroscience.
Hi, Ramsha. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and all my accessibility needs are being met.
Thank you. Biology sends their regrets. BPK also sends their regrets. Business. Is the business rep present? No. Chemistry.
Hi, my name is Wen. Pronouns are she, her, hers, and my accessibility needs have been met.
Thank you. Cognitive science.
Roland Poe from the Cognitive Science Student Society. He, him, his, and my needs are currently being met.
Thank you. Computer science.
Hey, my name is Ryan. Pronouns he, him, his. All my needs are met.
Thank you, Brian. Criminology.
Charlotte Taylor Bear, she, her, hers, all my accessibility needs are met.
Thank you. Earth science.
Hey, I'm Dylan. He, him, his. Accessibility needs are met.
It seems we have the wrong name on here. I'll make a note of that.
I'm just stepping in. I'm the president of the student union.
Okay, so your counselor is not present. All right, moving along. Economics.
Hi, Sandra Powell. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and my needs are met.
Thank you. Education.
Yep. Hi, Adrian. Pronouns are she, her, and all my access needs are being met right now.
Thank you. Engineering.
Hi, my name is Alvin. He, him, his. All my needs are met.
Thank you. English.
Hi, my name is Liz. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and all of my accessibility needs are met.
Thank you. Environmental resource or science. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Hyde. I represent Environmental Science Student Union. Pronouns she, her, hers, and all of my access needs are met.
Thank you. French.
Hi, my name's Kylie. I use she, her pronouns, and all my accessibility needs are met.
Thank you, Kylie. Gender, sexuality, and women's studies.
Hi, my name's Devin. My pronouns are she, hers, and all my accessibility needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. Geography. Geography.
Hi, sorry, I'm Nicole. She, her, hers, all my accessibility needs are met.
Thank you. Humanities.
Hi, my name is Sarah. She, her, hers, and all my needs are met. I do have a food delivery coming around 5, so I'll probably just be away from my keyboard for a few minutes.
Oh, good. Enjoy. Interactive arts and technology.
Hi, Brian Toe. He, him, his. All my accessibility needs have been met.
Thank you. International studies.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and all of my access needs are met.
Thank you. Labor studies.
Hello, my name is Justin. He, him, his, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Linguistics.
Hi, my name's Bree. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and all my accessibilities are met. I do have a 20-minute phone call meeting right in the middle of this, so I might be out of there just for a few minutes.
All right, thank you. Mechatronics.
Hi, my name is Kenya, she, hers, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. MBB.
Hi, my name is Kyle. Go by he, him. All my needs are met.
Thank you, Kyle. Operations research.
Hi, my name is Ash, he, him, his, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Philosophy. It seems that Tony's here. I think he's just having some trouble joining. Tony, you may introduce yourself. Philosophy.
Oh, sorry. My name is Tony. He, him, his. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Physics. The physics rep present. No. Political science.
Hi, everyone. My name is Helen. My pronouns are she, her, hers. All my accessibility needs have been met. I am in the middle of work currently, Zaid. So I will be popping in and out of the Zoom call for the first hour of it. So don't be alarmed if I need to come back into the call later on. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Helen. Next is psychology.
Hi, my name is Tiffany, she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met, but I do need to step out a little earlier at 5:50 to pick up a family member.
It's no problem. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Looks like an error. Residence Hall Association shouldn't be in here. It's a constituency group. Next up is science, which is myself, and Society of Arts and Social Sciences.
Hi, my name is Simran. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and all my access needs have been met.
Thank you. Sociology and anthropology. The sociology rep present. Software systems.
Hi, my name is Mehak. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and all my accessibility needs are met.
Thank you. Statistics.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and my accessibility needs are met.
Thank you. World literature.
Hi, my name is Kishtal. She, her, hers pronouns, and all my access needs have been met. Thanks.
Thank you. We're now moving on to our constituency group representatives, starting with Disability and Neurodiversity Alliance.
Hey, my name is Serena. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and my accessibility needs, I might just ask for clarification on something if I can't hear it properly.
Will do. Thank you, Serena. First Nations Student Association.
Hi, my name is Callie. My pronouns are she, hers, and my accessibility needs are met.
Thank you, Callie. Out on Campus Collective. Thank you, Victor. Just a note for the admin assistant that Victor has acknowledged that he's present in the chat. Moving on, Student Athletic Advisory Committee. Ryan has also acknowledged that he's present in the chat. Thank you. Students of Caribbean and African ancestry.
Hi, my name is Juanita. My pronouns are she, her, hers. My accessibility, unfortunately, I have to leave at 5:15. I'm so sorry, but yeah.
All right, thank you. Juanita, I just had a question. Are you the new representative from SOCA, or is Figor still the representative and you're filling in?
I'm just filling in for this semester.
Okay, I'll follow up on that afterwards. Thank you. All right, so moving on to the board of directors. Is our president here?
Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Asa. My pronouns are she and her, and all my access needs have been met.
Thank you. VP External Relations. Doesn't seem like someone is here. VP Finance.
Hi, everyone. VP Finance. My name's Corbett. Pronouns are he, him, his. And for access needs, I am on my personal laptop and I don't have a webcam, so can't turn it on. But other than that, I'm here.
Thank you, Corbett. VP Student Services. Guessing Matt isn't here either. VP Student Life.
Hey everyone, I'm Jennifer, she, her pronouns, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. VP University Relations. Is Gabe here? No, it's not. That's fine. Oh man, I closed the participants thing. Just trying to get the hang of using Zoom here. Oh, there we go. Moving on, are either of our at-large representatives present? Just gonna see. Don't think Balkis is here. Is Poom here? I don't think Poom is here either. We have some faculty representatives present, I believe. You may introduce yourself. Thought I saw Matab here earlier. Never mind. And I believe we have some of our society staff here. Is our transition manager here? We can say hi if you'd like. Or no, I saw Lawrence earlier. I think he left as well. It's totally fine. Campaign research and policy coordinator. I don't believe Sarah's here. Our admin assistant, though, is here. You can introduce yourself if you'd like.
Hello, this is Somaye. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and all my accessibility needs are met.
All right, thank you. We're now going to move on to item 4.1, ratification of regrets. Motion reads, be it resolved to ratify regrets from Nicholas Bonilla. Would anyone like to move this motion?
Cognitive science moves.
Cognitive science moves. Would anyone like to second?
MBB seconds.
MBBSU seconds. All right. Opening the floor for any discussion here. I'm actually going to move to amend this motion to include regrets from Joshua Ham. Would anyone like to second this amendment?
Humanities will second.
Humanities seconds. I don't think there's going to be any discussion on this, so we're just going to go straight to voting by unanimous consent. Seeking unanimous consent, if you dissent, instead of doing it by unmuting and muting your microphone, actually, I'm thinking we can try out the raise hand. Do we have that in here? Can somebody confirm, do we have that, the raise hand option in this meeting? Yes, we do. All right, thank you guys. All right, so seeking unanimous consent, if you dissent, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, this amendment carries. Moving back to the main motion, which now reads, be it resolved to ratify regrets from Nicholas Bonilla and Joshua Ham. I don't believe there's going to be any discussion on this, so we're now going to move to vote. Seeking unanimous consent. If you dissent, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, this motion carries. We're now on to item 5.1, adoption of the agenda. Be resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Would anyone like to move this motion?
Economics moves.
Economics moves. Kimia, do you have a question?
Nope, sorry, just testing it out.
All right. Would anyone like to second?
Psychology seconds.
Psychology seconds. All right, I'm opening the floor for discussion now. I'm actually going to move to amend the agenda to include a discussion item titled Council Budget Recommendations. Would anyone like to second?
English seconds.
English seconds. Any discussion on this amendment? I don't think so. We're going to move to vote, seeking unanimous consent. If you dissent, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, this amendment carries. Back to the main motion again, which reads, be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Well, now as amended. I'm going to move again to amend the agenda to include a new section after the discussion items titled Society Transition Steering Committee Recommendations. Let me just type that in the chat there. Which is going to include the following motion underneath it. Be it resolved that council recommends to the board that X be appointed to the Society Transition Steering Committee. Would anyone like to second?
PSSU seconds.
PSSU seconds. I don't think there's going to be any discussion. If there is, please raise your hand or list yourself. All right, seeing none, we're now going to move to vote. Seeking unanimous consent. If you dissent, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, this amendment carries. Back to the main motion again. Be it resolved to adopt the agenda as amended. I don't see there being any further discussion, so we're now going to move to vote on this motion, seeking unanimous consent once again. If you object, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, this motion carries unanimously. And we are now on to item 6, reports from the liaisons, starting with the council liaison. Ryan, you have the floor.
Hi, this is for the October 16th board meeting. Honestly, nothing really interesting. Filing various minutes from committees. I believe Embark freed up a room in the sub that they had marked down for them, but they admitted that they no longer needed. Was that actually it? Wow, I think that's it. Unless Jennifer has something else to add, but nothing really of interest to council.
Oops, I'm muted. Thank you, Ryan. Jennifer, you now have the floor.
Yeah, so I just sent a link in the chat. That's the liaison report thing. Like Ryan said, it was kind of a short meeting. I've highlighted the most important takeaways from that meeting at the very top, and I'll go over it. But as always, feel free to read more because all the details are in the document. But the most important point was that we discussed Black and Indigenous advocacy at SFU. And the VP University Relations, Gabe, is sending a condemnation letter to SFU regarding their systemic exclusion of Indigenous students and their performative activism, because we discussed this at council before, but during Orange Shirt Day, SFU basically had a lot of activities and they didn't invite the First Nation Student Association, which is systemic exclusion. And then after that, we had a presentation by the SFU Sustainability Office, and they talked about a climate action student collaborative, and there were a lot of details and it sounded pretty cool, but some board members had a lot of questions regarding why the mandate of the Sustainability Office didn't include pipelines. So if you scroll down on this document, or if you just click the link, the bookmarked link, I don't know, when I discovered that you could do the bookmarks and then link to somewhere else in the document, I was so shook. But if you click that link, it'll jump down to the presentation, and I took some screenshots, but then I also wrote down what it said on the slide. So you can read what they presented to us and all the cool things that they're doing. And then I also wrote down all the questions that board members asked. and you can read more about it here, because they kept saying pipelines weren't part of their mandate, but you can't really separate pipeline from advocacy. So you can read about all of that in this document. And yeah, that's what happened at the last board meeting.
All right, thank you. We are now going to move on to reports from board directors, starting with the president.
Thank you. And I'll try to keep this short, but essentially I think the last month, a lot of time, not only for myself, but for the entire board has been going into AGM prep. I won't go into that into too much detail, as I know we do have an item on the debriefing, but some of the behind the scenes things that happened in prep for the AGM included myself and our Vice President Student Services, Matt, mostly working with our communications coordinator on some of the campaign pieces that we put out online via social media, via emails and all that stuff. And I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to all the counselors who sent in videos and other blurbs and bits and bobs and helped us post things, and also posted things on their own social media accounts. I think that that was a huge piece of our outreach and the reason why we were able to have so many students attend. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. Some of the non-AGM related stuff that we worked on, myself and our Vice President University Relations, Gabe, attended a number of meetings with TransLink regarding the Burnaby Mountain Gondola. We went there essentially to share our findings from our student consultation that we did earlier this year, and that students really do support a gondola being built in a direct route from Production Way University SkyTrain Station up to SFU campus. And honestly, attending those events and hearing from other community stakeholders, I think we had the strongest case. Of course, there are a couple of people living in the neighborhood who have concerns about it as well, but a lot of people who attended these meetings with us were in strong favor of the route. So we're hoping that, yeah, the gondola is making some good headway. I worked with our Vice President of External Relations on the election campaign, the BC, the provincial election campaign. Thankfully, that's over. We did sign on to the Take It Over campaign that was being led by the British Columbia Federation of Students and put some posts out regarding that. Some other things that have gone on are just regular monthly meetings with some SFU administration. I had a chance to meet with President Joy Johnson and Vice President Students International, Romana Kanhamani. We spoke a little bit about SFU's budget that will be coming up, in which we will find out whether the university is choosing to implement more tuition increases or not. We also spoke a little bit about some of the equity, diversity, inclusion initiatives that they're looking to put out. And some of those same topics came up at JOG, the Joint Operations Group, where the entire board actually was able to attend kind of like an informational session in preparation for the budget, so that when we do get a copy of the draft, we're able to give good feedback on that. Some other things that I've been working on is I've worked with the university on academic integrity week things, but from our point, we've been talking more about student rights. In the case that you do get named in an academic integrity case, letting students know that they do have rights. So that will be a video that's coming out fairly soon. I'm also a part of the university's COVID-19 operations group, where we receive updates and give recommendations and feedback onto some of the university's operations regarding COVID-19 and the reopening of classes and the CATS, the COVID ambassador team, COVID safety ambassador team, who kind of walk around campus, and we give some recommendations as to how they can make that more effective too. So that's been what I've been up to in the last month. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask or to connect with me offline. Thank you.
Thank you, Asad. We'll move on to, oops, I just lost my place here. We'll move on to our VP Finance.
Hi, everyone. So I was mostly focused on three main things over the last month. One was sub matters. Sub has been, we've fully passed our inspections, and we've officially had occupancy clear. We're still sorting out some insurance gaps, but that should be sorted out within the next week or so. But even still, we can operate some staff in the building in very limited amounts just for required work, basically. And so we'll be meeting with different groups that are moving in and getting self-organized, like Student Care and SF Perg and other groups. I've also worked a lot with the AGM planning and day of the event. That took up a significant amount of my time. I ended up being the main timekeeper for the event. That's why I had the 30-second sign sometimes being shown when people are doing discussions. And most of my role also was just helping work through the script and coordinating the budgets and the prizes and working with just double checking tech support and stuff, and just general coordination with the event. Finally, I have been working with other members of the Finance and Administrative Service Committee to progress some of the fall projects, including participatory budgeting project, as well as the the investments policy implementation. So we've been meeting with different team leads and form up a plan that will then should be enacted by the end of this fall term. Thank you.
Thank you, Corbett. Next up is our VP Student Life.
Hello again. So a lot of the work I did recently was regarding the AGM, but honestly, I kind of like making the TikToks, so I might continue doing that even though the AGM's over. So if you have TikTok ideas, throw them my way. I chair two committees, the Events Committee and the Accessibility Committee. So for the Accessibility Committee, we are currently in the process of hiring an accessibility designated assistant who will help us make SFSS more accessible, basically. We're working on an accessibility bursary and revamping and making the accessibility grant request form even more accessible, because right now it's kind of hard to fill out and it's kind of confusing. With the events committee, we have some events coming up. Tomorrow, I will be hosting a vegan salted caramel pretzel cookie baking workshop, and they're really good. I used to bring them to campus all the time and just give them out, and people loved them. So that's happening tomorrow from 2:30 to 3:30. And then next Wednesday, also 2:30 to 3:30, we have an apple pie food workshop. And they're like the mini apple pies, so super cute. These are great study snacks, so I recommend coming and learning how to make these things. This Friday, we also have a horror movie night, and we'll be watching Hereditary. And please come if you can. It's at 7 p.m. I really don't want to watch alone because I'm really scared of horror movies and stuff. We also have a collaboration with SFU Esports and CAC, Canadianized Asian Club, I think. They're doing this Spellbound Game Night thing from October 28th today until October 31st. Be sure to check that out. Everything is on our Instagram. Let me just link it. Okay. Yeah, that's our Instagram. We're planning to do a lot more Instagram stuff, like maybe fun trivia on our Instagram stories in November, because everyone's busy with exams. We don't want to make them come to a Zoom event. I think that's all I have for now. I'm just gonna drop a bunch more links in the chat about because every committee meeting I keep a debrief document, so you can read about what we do at my committees. You can also read all my work reports and contact me through Facebook and Instagram and email. So I'm just gonna drop all the links in the chat right now. And that's it for me today.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Seems that our VP External is not present. I will follow up and have him give his report at our next meeting. Moving on to our discussion items. We are on to the AGM debriefing and next steps. So first of all, I'd like to just thank everyone, all the counselors out here who made it out to the AGM and advertised and also spoke to and shared the bylaws with their groups, then also filled out the spreadsheet that was sent out by OSSUB. It really means a lot that all of you were engaged with this, and as you all probably know, the bylaw proposals all passed with an overwhelming majority. Just need to admit someone here. So basically we now need to look at our next steps for transitioning to a governance structure with council being the legal body. Actually, today at the board's governance committee, we discussed the creation of a transition steering committee, which will basically aid the transition to the new governance structure. I'm just going to send a link in the chat for everyone. So essentially, this document just outlines the composition and the goals and tasks for this committee. So the composition, we're going to have the president, who is ex officio. There will be 2 chairpersons, 2 co-chairs. One will be a board member and one a counselor. 4 members of the board of directors, including one of the co-chairs, and then 4 counselors, including one of the co-chairs. We'll also include up to 2 student union executives, which are non-counselors. I'm actually going to share my screen here. How do I share my screen? All right. You guys see my screen? I hope so. All right, yeah, so we'll have up to 2 student union executives also on this committee. They won't be counselors, so it's just to help out, have extra opinions from maybe an outside perspective. And also 2 constituency group representatives, which are also non-counselors, and then 4 staff members. So going forward, the kind of terms of reference for this committee the goals are basically to put into practice these amendments that we've been made in the bylaws at our AGM, and to work with the board of directors, council, student union executives, constituency groups to help with a successful transition. 3 of the main tasks here are going to be training and then kind of communicating information here. So it's going to be working basically regarding the elections, the government's changes, council vacancies, communicating that with councillors and student union executives. Also to ensure that there's proper training systems in place for the executive committee and also for councillors as directors of the society. Another task is going to be essentially compiling the governing documents. So the committee is going to work on updating all existing society policies, so all the board policies and other regulations to be consistent with the new structure that we're implementing. It's also going to be recommending to council a set of updated policies for approval at our first council meeting for the new term as board after May 1st, 2021. And as this committee is also going to be working with student unions and constituency groups to improve their constitutions and to make sure that they are in line with the bylaws, to make sure that everything is consistent and to really help out, because there are quite a few DSUs that do have outdated constitutions, and I've had some interest from counselors who are looking to update their constitution. So this is one of the goals of this committee. And finally, working with operations. So to work with the Finance and Administrative Services Committee to create a preliminary budget to be recommended for approval by the Board of Directors. So this is going to be the budget that we're going to be deciding on what kind of stipends we want to be paying out to the new directors and to counselors with the changing roles. Also be working with the executive committee and the HR and personnel committee to research and establish maybe new staffing models to help support the bylaw changes and the new structures, then any other kind of tasks that might happen time to time to achieve the general goals or those assigned by the board of directors. And there will also be sub-working groups that will be formed wherever possible to help achieve its goals, which will be open for counselors, obviously, to help in, as we are going to be the new board of directors. So yeah, I attached that document. Now I have to see, how do I stop sharing? Okay, stop sharing it. So just a little bit more discussion. So this transition steering committee is not, it's not actually created yet. It will be voted on being created at the next board meeting this Friday. But today we will be voting on recommending who we want to be on the committee. And something I just like to emphasize is that people who are on this committee. It's going to take commitment, energy, and you need to be prepared to actively participate in meetings and discussion, and there might be assigned tasks. It's really important. And as such, we're looking to have compensation for counselors who join the transition committee to compensate you for your time and effort. Sorry, that was a bit of a large tangent there. Well, not a tangent, but there's a lot of information to take in. If anyone has any questions about the Transition Steering Committee or about the AGM in general, or any comments, the floor is now open for anyone. Please list yourselves. Would like to reiterate though that the AGM did go quite successful in my view. Like, in my opinion, we had a huge number of people out there, and it really just goes to show the hard work that was put in by the board members and counselors involved in this. And just want to congratulate everyone on our success here, and also with just having it run smoothly overall. So it was great to see that support. But yeah, if anyone would like to speak, list yourself. Kyle.
Thank you, Zaid. Again, congratulations, great AGM. I just want to discuss if the board has, or if there's been any measures felt about how to gather student opinion now that this AGM has passed. This was very different from a lot of other AGMs. The turnout was also extremely high. I think right now, strike while the iron's hot, we need to have a way to listen to students' opinions on it. What did they enjoy? What went well? What went wrong? If they couldn't come out, why could they not? Or if they did come out, why did, or anything and everything. And I see yes.
Yes, also.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. And yeah, we haven't had our board meeting yet. Post AGM, we're going to be having our first meeting this Friday, where we do actually have a discussion on the AGM debrief and also how we can gather information. Some ideas that we've been having is to contact the students who did attend and maybe do something of a survey, gather feedback in the very unfortunate case that the next AGM also has to be online, just to, make sure now that we have kind of like a baseline of what this year was like, that we're able to gather information to see how we can improve it for the future. But we'll be having that discussion on Friday, and then we can report back.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to there being probably some form of survey. I imagine that's going to be sent out just to get thoughts from everyone. But in my opinion, it went pretty well. I think it's for everyone as well. But again, everyone, if you have any kind of comments or questions regarding the AGM, anything that you'd like to ask, you may do so now, or any questions regarding the Transition Steering Committee or the next steps for council. It's the time for some discussion here. Yes, Ryan.
This is coming straight from my DSU. How long would this steering committee exist?
I can respond to that. Well, we actually did discuss this in the governance committee today. It would last roughly until April, basically because there's going to be a lot of policy changes that need to be put into place, and also working with the elections as well. So this committee is quite likely going to last all the way until the next board term starts. I hope that answers your question. Liz, you now have the floor.
Hi, I was just wondering, since it was said in the AGM that about or just over 600 people came out, which is amazing, how many people were actively voting? Because it seemed to me, at least, that not everybody was actually in front of their computer.
Good question. Corbett, you have a direct response.
Hi, Liz. So I have the numbers for the total votes for and against. What I'm delaying on is I'm waiting for IT services to finish their some light editing and processing to get the whole video, because I want to get the timestamps of how many people were listed as in attendance at the time of each motion, so I can have a full range of data from for, against, and non-vote, either what's abstain or technical issues or AFK. What I can say is the vast majority of votes had significant amount of numbers for people that voted for and against, like in total. My rough estimate that I've said internally is maybe at most 100 people per motion were non-votes. But I won't have when I have those hard numbers, I'll submit them to council.
All right, thank you, Corbett. I'm looking forward to seeing those numbers. Hopefully that answers your question, Liz. Charlotte, you have the floor.
Yeah, so the only thing that I would say that could be improved for the next AGM, if it is being held via Zoom, based on the feedback I got from my student group, was just, I think a break would really help engagement, because sitting for 3 hours in a classroom isn't like the worst thing, but sitting for 3 hours on Zoom it's pretty draining. And it also did kind of go through like dinner time. So I think that just having 1 or 2 breaks, even if they're 5 minutes, would be really beneficial. And I think that a lot of people would be more engaged and be listening more if they did have a little bit of time off. Yeah, I see a lot of people agreeing.
Thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, I agree as well. Honestly, it was pretty difficult to sit through there and actually pay attention. I honestly really did zone out when the finance guy was there talking. I just went and started eating dinner. But yeah, that's something we can think about for the future. If, unfortunately, we may have another AGM that's online. We could implement that, having some form of breaks. I think the reason though that they were afraid of giving breaks is honestly to lose quorum, and then maybe that might be an issue. But yeah, just need to scroll back up to go to the list. Kyle, you have the floor.
Hi, this is to do with the transition committee. I'm just curious if part of their work will be to ensure that all the vacant seats for all the student unions will get filled somehow, since obviously now that council will have the more power. Part of the promise for that vote was to better represent the student populace. If there are vacant seats, that is, you aren't really representing those unions. So just curious.
Yeah, so I mean, part of that is going to be some outreach done by council itself to speak with all of the DSUs that have seats on council. I mean, we ideally would want to have students who are active from each of the DSUs and are motivating to take those seats. But if the case is that it's an inactive DSU, that it's unfortunately we can't really force anyone to take those seats outside of that DSU. For example, there are some small DSUs on council that some of them may actually be inactive just because they're quite small. But that outreach piece, I think that's something that partly council can do, but it also be something that we may want to have some form of contact between the transition steering committee. So that is a good idea. I think though that with having this votes and then publicizing it a lot, it'll also bring a bit more seriousness to this position, and we'll have a bit more activity from people who are interested in joining council as the new board. Devin, I see that you have your hand up. If it's to speak, you'll have to list yourself in the chats. If you have some kind of question or concern though, you may ask.
It was a comment about the AGM, but if other people in front of me, I can go later.
Yeah, you just need to list yourself. Roland, you have the floor.
Sure. So I was one of those people who were experiencing technical issues with the AGM. I was on or had to connect via phone. I don't know how many of us there were. And so myself, I had obviously a lot of trouble with the voting. We saw some of that happened in the Discord. We spoke about that briefly. Ryan also mentioned that he had some trouble voting. And so if 2 out of the 40 of us that are here had trouble, certainly there are dozens of more students who had troubles voting. And so I just wanted to sort of bring awareness that it seems like the sort of standing meeting rules that were struck were either not being followed or actively ignored. And of course, one single vote, my vote wasn't going to sway anything, but I think it's a dangerous precedent to set to not allow those members who are joining through alternate means to vote, to actively ignore these sort of rules that were struck that are standing. I assume no malice on the behalf of the board or the IT staff, but I think that this is something that needs to be thought about and addressed immediately, how that we're going to make sure that everyone who is in attendance is, does sort of have proper representation.
Thank you, Roland. Also, do you have a direct response?
Yeah, no, thank you, Roland. And I know that we had a brief conversation about this on Discord, but I'm happy to kind of talk about it a bit here now as well. So yeah, as for the meeting standing orders, I did not see anyone with a phone number raise their hand, whether that was a technical difficulty. On your end, I'm not 100% sure about that, but on our end, we definitely did not see that happening. And we did do our best to make this an accessible meeting given the pandemic, simply seeing as we couldn't gather 600 people safely or legally together in one place on person. Absolutely. So yeah, I would like to apologize. At any given time, I did not see more than 2 people calling in. I'm assuming one of them was you and one of them was likely another person. But at the same time, it's kind of, I guess, to draw a parallel between a live AGM and between our digital AGM. If somebody was having issues, getting into the AGM or something of the sort, there's not a lot that we can do on our end to do about it. And especially given the pandemic situation, I really tried to do my best to ensure that everybody was able to get a vote. I'm really surprised that we didn't have any serious technical difficulties like the Zoom crashing or something in the middle of the meeting, which would have been a disaster. So I think for all intents and purposes, it went fairly smoothly in that place. I can say I did not deliberately ignore or not follow any standing rules that I had set out at the beginning of the meeting. However, if things did not go 100% smoothly, I do apologize for that.
Thank you, Asab. Devin?
Yeah, I don't know if any other DSUs discussed this, but one of the main concerns coming out of the Gender Studies Student Union was the chat. Specifically the misinformation that was being spread, some rather heated conversations, and the sheer number of messages going through. It did cause my computer to glitch out a lot, and I know that's just due to my computer kind of being old. But I'm just, for future reference, for a future AGM, I think there needs to be more moderation of the chat, because I found it very not only distracting, but sometimes it took away from what we were discussing because we just completely go off topic about something else.
Thank you, Devin. Also, as a direct response.
Yeah, sorry, I really don't want to take too much of the floor up, but we're really, really looking for some feedback and support in thinking of, other avenues, because it is actually a legal requirement that we allow students to converse during the AGM. We're not allowed to turn off the chat or disable chat for anybody. So we did have to have an avenue via which students could actually interact with each other. So the chat did have to stay open. But yeah, any suggestions on how we can make it better for next time, especially with regards to chat moderation or standing rules that we can implement to kind of prevent things from getting heated in the chat again, we would be more than happy to hear.
Thank you, Asab. Corbett?
I also kind of want to talk to Roland's experience. Definitely, I'd like, as part of our feedback survey, to double check to see what kind of challenges people had, technical or otherwise, with the AGM. Because I know from personal experience, sometimes the mobile version of an app versus the desktop doesn't always have the exact same features, the same usability or whatnot. If there is a technical issue in the sense that, especially for people phoning in, if they didn't have full access because of the limitations of the system with Zoom, I'd like to know that so that we can get that feedback to SFU and to pass on to Zoom itself. So I'll be pushing for that to be included in the survey. Thank you.
Thank you, Corbett. Charlotte, you have the floor.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the discussion about the chat. I definitely agree that it was sort of out of hand. I had the AGM on pause for about 10 minutes and I came back and there was over 500 messages in the chat. So I think that definitely figuring out a way to moderate that's going to be important if it is online again next year. I mean, you could put in sort of a very strict set of guidelines saying no offensive speech, nothing like off topic. I don't know if that has any like sort of procedures like legally, like also said earlier. But then again, people might not listen to that. So I think maybe having moderators in the chat, like people with the sort of the role of moderating the chat, that could potentially be helpful. But I think that it is going to be a bit of a like tricky situation, and no matter what, I think there is going to be a lot of like conversation going on a tangent.
Thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, I do believe it would be a kind of a tricky situation there to try and have active moderation and muting people, since we are supposed to be giving equal opportunity to everyone to speak and converse freely in the chat. I mean, we can always set up, you know, expectations and rules, but it's really up to people to follow them. Though I did see as well, though, that there was some conversation that was going on that was rather offensive, that wasn't moderated. So I think that there should be, I guess, a bit more active moderation and maybe some guidelines behind when people can be muted or maybe removed from the call when they pass a certain, you know, threshold. I'm just going to read out what Adrienne said in the chat. She's having some issues unmuting herself, but she wanted to bring up that there was, you know, again, there's some misinformation being spread. She thought it was disingenuous to the students attending the AGM that they're being informed that council voted all in favor for bylaw proposal 4, except for 1, when in reality the vote was on whether or not to have it on the agenda, not whether we supported it or not. She felt that it was worth noting. I'm going to go back up the list again. Liz, I believe you are next.
Hi, sorry, I actually forgot what I was going to say, but I'll list myself if it comes back to me.
Great, thank you, Kylie, sorry.
No worries. I was just wondering, for the discussion that's mandatory, if it has to be on Zoom, because a different option would be perhaps Discord, because I know with the Zoom chat, it was like my computer crashed for a couple minutes because of all the messages. Or on Discord, if people don't want to pay attention to it, they don't have to. And then also if anything inappropriate is said, it's easy to just check back, find out who it was, and then banish them or whatever, get them in trouble. Thank you.
Yeah, Discord is, I guess, an option, though. I mean, we've looked at it ourselves to use it in council, but there is an issue regarding voting procedures and also authentication issues, where with Zoom you had to log in with your SFU account, whereas I don't think we can confirm that using Discord. It's a kind of a tricky issue again there. I mean, when the welcome day happened, they also used this thing called Hopin, which also had authentication for SFU students, but that also, the chats there were moderated, but they were still overflowing and causing lag everywhere. So there's some difficulties that are kind of hard to escape there when it comes to, you know, spam in online meetings, but hopefully we can try and find some better way for it in the future. Just gonna go down the list again. Liz, you have the floor.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring up Discord as well. When I was reading in the chat, it seemed like people just wanted a spot to chat, maybe not where we can hold the meeting, but have a few moderators over there. Just an idea, but I also understand that it would be pretty tough. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Also, you have another direct response.
Yeah, sorry. It was actually a response to Adrian's point from a while ago. I was actually just pulling up the agenda from the council meeting at the end of September. So yeah, your comment in that council voted in favor to have it on the agenda, not in favor of the proposal, is not correct. It was actually that council voted in favor of the proposal. The authority to put it on the agenda as of right now, which of course will change after these effects taking place, the authority to actually put a motion on the agenda was under the board's jurisdiction. So essentially we were going to put this proposal forward either way. We just wanted to ensure that we had council support, because to be honest, I don't think that this would have passed without council support and help throughout the last few months. The be it resolved clause actually reads, be it resolved that council approve the bylaw 4 proposal on council empowerment as presented. So it was an approval of the actual proposal and its contents, not the approval to put it on the agenda.
All right, thank you, Asab. Just like to remind everyone that we do have some other items that we do need to get to. So I would like to move on if there isn't any new discussion. If there are any last minute comments or questions, please feel free to list yourself. All right, seeing none, we're going to move on. All right, our next discussion item is council budget recommendations. All right, so council's governance committee was discussing our uses for our yearly budget. Just for everyone's information, council this year has received a $2,000 budget for the year. In the past, we would have a $5,000 budget, but historically, this budget is mostly unused except for a pizza party that's held at the end of the year. So obviously, since we're online, that's not something that's possible for us. So in discussion with the governance committee, we looked at some possible uses for our budget. We came up with two ideas. The first of which we were looking to, following the previous motion that we passed, standing in support with Black Lives Matters, we were actually looking to donate a portion of our budget to one Indigenous community organization and one Black community organization. Is basically a symbol of allyship and in solidarity with the struggles that these communities are facing today. This is also just in line with the ability of student unions to donate portions of their funds, their core funds, to charities, which was passed, I believe, during the summer. So we looked at some possible organizations. We did reach out also to look for some more ideas here. I was thinking, we decided on donating a portion of $700, so $350 each to these two organizations. I just wanted to have some general discussion on this first, though, to possibly hear some ideas for charities or organizations that need support, and whether this is something that everyone supports going forward with. And hopefully we can actually vote on our choices and then bring it in for as a motion at our spending motion at our next meeting. The floor is open for any discussion on this. Yes, Callie.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to say I think it's a really great idea, and I can't wait to see this put into motion. I think there will be some things to discuss about how the organizations will be selected, maybe how many will be selected, and also how much. But yeah, I'm excited about this.
Thank you, Callie, for voicing your support. Really, we're just in the discussion phase right here. We came up with the ideas and governance, but it's up to council to really decide on the organizations that we want to donate to and potentially how much of our budget. The idea was we have $2,000. It's largely unused, though we are in the second part of this discussion item. I also wanted to bring up counselor appreciation, which will use up another part of our budget. So I thought that it would be fair we could donate $350 to two organizations, though it is really up to the council to decide on how much we want to give and to which ones we want to choose. So if anyone has any ideas, please, or any comments, whether it's to voice their support or to give some ideas of organizations, please do so now. I'm hoping to bring this as a motion at our next meeting. And I'm hoping that we can decide actually on some organizations today via a poll. Yes, Callie.
So I actually spoke to the First Nations Student Association membership, and I asked if they had any recommendations for organizations. And I have.
Sorry, you're muted. Or is that audio issue on my side? We still can't hear you, Callie.
Let me know when you can hear me.
I can hear you again.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. Do you want me to read the list out? Or
Sure, you can read out a list and then maybe talk about which ones you think we should look at, and then you can also post it in the chat as well. It's really entirely up to you.
okay, I'll probably do that. So the suggestions were the Vancouver Aboriginal Transformative Justice, the First Nations Health Authority, the BC Treaty Commission, the Gord Downey and Cheney Wenjack Fund, Inspire, and the Native Women's Association of Canada. And then each one has like different purposes. So I think it's important to know like which one you want to donate the money to. I
Okay.
can put the list in the chat.
Yeah, if you could put the list in the chat, that'd be great. I'm just trying to think about how we want to go ahead with deciding here, since there's a lot of options. Potentially, we could maybe have the decision done at our next meeting, have these different organizations have a little bit of background given to council about each of them, and then we can do a poll, and then I can have a motion also on the agenda for putting the money forward, and we can just amend the agenda with the organizations that we choose. If anyone's interested, you can comment on that. Serena, you have the floor.
Thank you, Callie, for all those suggestions. I just wanted to say that I had brought up a few organizations, Black organizations that we could donate to, as DNA had donated to some earlier in the year. So we still had this list, which includes the Vancouver Black Therapy and Advocacy Fund, Hogan's Alley Society, Black Health Alliance, and I think we had one more, but I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately.
Thank you, Serena. I totally forgot to put that list in there. We did discuss a few options, but there were only a few there, and we were really just wanting to get more, ideas, and obviously to discuss this with the rest of council before trying to go into a vote with it. But yeah, if anyone wants to, please do speak on this if you're in support, if you have any ideas of how we should go about deciding. Otherwise, I think we'll go with the original idea I had of just maybe having a little bit of background for each of these groups that have been listed at our next meeting, having that presented, and then having a poll to choose two of these groups. And then we can pass a motion to spend it all at our next meeting. Alvin, you have the floor.
Yeah, I just want to echo that it's great that we have so many options. And if we want to decide how to choose, yeah, I would suggest either discussing it over Discord or through email, or at the same time, if you want to leave the decision in the hands of the governance committee, that is also an option. And then we can do the research, or we can all do the research together over Discord. That's just two options I'm suggesting.
Thank you, Alvin. Yeah, that is an option. If councillors are okay with that, then we could leave it up to the governance committee to then choose the two organizations, though I would like it to be more collaborative with all of council making this decision. But if council sees fit, then we can leave it up to the decision by the governance committee. Helen, you have the floor.
Thanks so much. Just so you guys know, I'm sorry if you hear transportation or people talking in the background. I'm just walking on my way home from work. But I just want to voice my opinion on this matter. I will echo with what Zay just said, that this should be, sorry, I almost got hit by a car. Okay, so I think this should be a collaborative matter. the governance committee only looks into the fine workings of the budget, but it is our budget, it's council's budget, so we should all have a voice on where we want to put it to. And I want to give the recommendation that counselors, Callie and Serena, since you guys looked into these organizations and put forward these recommendations, if maybe you could provide a background or like a rundown of why you support those organizations, because I'm not sure if everyone in this room is going to have the time to look at every single organization. So if you could provide like a little document, send it out to everyone that has a rundown of what these organizations do, I think that'd be really helpful so it can get everyone thinking. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Helen. Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe just a little summary, just, you know, what each organization does, if they're a local organization or if they're a bit larger. I mean, that would be a good idea. I'm thinking we can probably go with that then, have that discussion done via Discord with background on these listed organizations. And then at our next meeting, we can have a poll, choose 2 of these organizations, and then we can pass our motion also to allocate this money. Yeah, just again, if anyone has any comments or any suggestions, I'm thinking this is probably the way we're going to go through with it, is $700, $350 for each of these organizations. I mean, I know it's not a whole lot, but it is really to just show our standing, you know, in line with these organizations and basically our allyship as well. All right. Maybe I should have split this into 2 discussion items. So seeing that this first item for our budget is thoroughly discussed, I think we're going to go ahead with the procedure that we outlined for deciding. Second part is that we also discussed some form of counselor appreciation. We can't do a pizza party, obviously, but we did want to have some form of appreciation for all of you guys for coming out here, you know, being active, participating in council, and we wanted to show this in some kind of way, whether that's through a token or a gift card. We looked at either some form of token, whether that could be, you know, like a council water bottle or a t-shirt of some sort, or we could have gift cards being given out to everyone. So I just wanted to hear some discussion on that. I think we were leaning more towards gift cards of counselor's choice. It is really entirely up to you guys. So I'd like to hear some discussion. If anyone wants to, please list. Is there any discussion? In governance, we kind of looked at, you know, it's probably going to be easier to just give out gift cards because physical objects, there's an issue with handing them out and, you know, organizing, basically ordering and everything. But when it comes to gift cards, we can actually possibly do a Google form, and then everyone can maybe choose from some different types, and then we can have it done that way. But it's basically just a way to say thank you to everyone for being engaged. And also, yes, Kyle, you have the floor.
Hi, sorry, this is my first time. I'm just curious, is this going to encompass the entire 1,300 of the remaining council budget, or okay, just checking?
No, we're still going to have money left over. I'm looking at the range of maybe $15 to $20 gift cards, which would be roughly $600 to $800, seeing we have 40 members. I mean, we've really explored like what options we have, and honestly, it's quite limited because we're in online right now. So we thought this might be a good avenue for utilizing our budgets. Yes, Sarah.
Hey, so just about the gift card idea, do we get to choose where we want them from, or is there's just going to be like a list of options provided that we can choose from?
Good question. That's what I was hoping to have really in our discussion here. Is we made a list, I think, of like 5 places in governance, which one of which was like we had like Tim Hortons, Starbucks, Amazon. I think one of them was like grocery store. So we were hoping to have maybe like a list of 3 to 4 different gift cards, and then we can have everyone fill out a form and choose whichever one they like. I mean, this is also our way of trying to kind of compensate, because we have many counselors here who have been volunteering their time in board committees as well, and they don't receive stipends for that. And this is also just another way to say thank you for all of you who have been working hard on, helping out with different board activities and doing things outside of what has been, minimum or required of you. Helen, you have the floor. Or yeah, Helen.
Thanks so much. Just so y'all know, I'm finally home. I'm not going to get hit by a car, and hopefully no distractions this time. So thanks for bearing with me earlier on. Zaid, I just want to say some of the gift card choices that we mentioned at the governance committee last time, and just correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just going off the top of my head, but we suggested Tim Hortons, I think Starbucks, Skip the Dishes. Yeah, definitely. So those things in the chat, those things on the chat, those are some of the things that we, and Amazon, those are some of the things that we discussed at the governance committee. But again, we do want to hear what are some other things that you guys are interested in, so then we can get those gift cards out to you. Because I don't think right now would be wise for us to create council merch and all that kind of stuff, because we're all so secluded to our own spaces. None of us are really going up to Burnaby Mountain and whatnot. So I think it'd be more easier for us to just do the gift cards, and also to keep you guys full and ready to go for midterms and final exams and whatnot. So I am leaning more towards gift cards, and please just everyone let us know what you want, so then we can provide that for you.
Yeah, thank you, Helen. Yeah, I'd just like to hear from everyone. I mean, if there isn't enough support for this, then I guess we'll just not go forward with using our budget. So please voice your support or any ideas, everyone. Callie, you have the floor.
Hi, I'm definitely voicing my support. And can I recommend Superstore gift cards? Because I need groceries.
It's a good idea. I'm thinking actually we can do a poll in the Discord and then maybe choose the top 5 gift cards that people vote for, and then use those. How does that sound, everyone? Sarah, you have the floor.
Yeah, I'm definitely liking the gift card idea, and especially for grocery stores, I think that'd be super helpful. Some of the other options though, nothing against Starbucks or Tim Hortons or Amazon, but as someone who really supports local businesses and wants them to succeed, I'd be happy to provide a few options for you guys that can encompass not just for one specific store, maybe a coffee subscription or something like that.
That's a great idea, Sarah. I think we'll have more discussion on this in the Discord then to make some choices. And then look into these different ones. So definitely join the discussion there. Roland, you have a direct response?
Yeah, I'd like to say that, of course, or not of course, but having those local businesses is a great option, but we should really not have it be exclusively local, because not all council members are in the Lower Mainland. I'm currently joining from Montreal, so having a local business gift card wouldn't do me a whole lot of good. So having a mix of options, I think, would fulfill more students' needs here.
Yeah, definitely. That's why we're going to have an option. Probably it's going to be a Google form, and then we'll give you guys 5 options or something, and then you can choose which ones, and we'll send them out. But yeah, I think we'll just continue this discussion in the Discord. I'll make a channel, and then we can have more discussion on that. I don't think it's a great use to keep going on or about this in our meeting today because we do have some other items to move to. So I'm going to move on. Again, we're going to just go forward with the procedures that we set out for deciding on the organizations we want to donate to, and then also which gift cards we want to have as options for you guys. The discussion will continue in the Discord, so everyone make sure to participate. And that's all I'm going to say on this discussion item. And now moving on to our final item, Society Transition Steering Committee recommendations. The motion reads, be it resolved that Council recommends X be appointed to the Society Transition Steering Committee. Would anyone like to move this motion?
Comp Sci moves.
Computer Science moves. Would anyone like to second?
Economics move, or seconds.
Economics seconds, thank you. All right, so we're now going to move to discussion. So first of all, I'm just going to remind everyone, there are 4 seats open on this committee for counselors. Please do note that you want to be able to commit to being active in these committees, participating in discussion, working on some tasks. This is going to be a very active role, but as such, there's going to be some form of compensation for counselors who do participate, which will be decided by, I believe, the finance committee of the board. But yeah, just again reiterating that, yes, this is a commitment. You're going to be helping basically, outline the functions and everything in transition to this new structure that we've all worked hard to get voted and passed. So it's really important, and you will be compensated for it in some way. And with that being said, I'm now going to open the floor for nominations. So this is the first call for nominations. If you'd like to be appointed to this committee, please just unmute your microphone and state your name and that you nominate yourself, and I'll add you to our list of nominees. It's the first call.
I'd like to nominate myself. I'm Ryan, Computing Science.
All right, thank you, Ryan.
Is there a limit on how many committees I can be on?
No, Ryan.
Okay.
I mean, the limit may be that you're going to overstress yourself, but that's entirely up to you. This is the second call for nominations.
I nominate myself.
All right, thank you, Callie. Thank you, Kyle. So when it comes to non-counselor DSU execs, I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work. I mean, I believe that the committee governance committee, once this committee has been formed, is going to reach out then to all of the DSUs via the mailing list and then announce that there will be, that this committee exists and they're looking for executives who are interested in working on it. So it's not something that's going to come under council to recommend. Yeah. All right. This is the third call for nominations.
I can.
I'd also. Oh, you go ahead first.
Okay. Devin, nominate myself. Thank you.
Devin, what is your DSU again? Sorry.
Sorry, I got disconnected earlier. It's Gender Studies. GSWS.
And Helen, you nominate yourself as well.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right. All right, cool. That was the final call for nominations. So seeing no further interest and seeing that we have filled the 4 vacant seats, we're not going to have to move towards motivations or anything. So we'll just go ahead with amending the motion with the nominees' names. I'm going to move to amend this motion to replace, I'm going to move to amend the motion, be it resolved the council recommends X be appointed to the Society Transition Steering Committee to replace X with Ryan, Vansicle, Callie, Daryl, I'm sorry, I butcher people's names. I'm just trying to find Devin in here. Devin Butterworth, and Helen Paho. Would anyone like to second this amendment?
Software system seconds.
Software system seconds. All right, we're going to move to vote on this amendment. Okay, we're going to go by unanimous consent, seeing that there's probably not going to be any contention. Seek unanimous consent. If you dissent, please raise your hand. All right, seeing no objections, this amendment carries. We are now back to the main motion again. Be it resolved that council recommends Ryan Van Sickle, Callie Sturl, Devin Butterworth, and Helen Paho be appointed to the Society Transition Steering Committee. Is there any further discussion? I'm just going to note for everyone that may have been interested but was not able to nominate themselves or was maybe a bit afraid of commitment for that. There are going to be those subcommittees that were mentioned that will be formed by this committee on an ad hoc basis. So there will be a chance for you to still be involved if you are interested, though those will be formed by the committee as it sees fit for working on various specific functions in this transition. Anyways, we are now going to move to vote on the main motion. Seeking unanimous consent. If you dissent, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, this motion carries. Congratulations, you guys. Once this committee has been created at the next meeting, I believe they will also pass a motion to appoint the 4 of you to the committee. And that's an end to all of our items today. Announcements. Our next meeting normally would have been on November 11th, but of course, since that is a holiday, a statutory holiday, we're not going to be having our meeting then. So our meeting is going to be postponed to the following week. So our next meeting will be on November 18th. Now we're going to move to adjournment. I'm kind of losing my marbles here, guys. I'm sorry, I've been skipping over things. Motion 10.1, be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 5:57 p.m. Would anyone like to move this motion?
Software system moves this motion.
Software systems moves. Would anyone like to second?
Cognitive science seconds.
Cognitive science seconds. Don't think there's going to be any discussion. So seeking unanimous consent. If you dissent, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, this motion carries. All right, thank you, everyone. This meeting is now concluded. I will see you all. What did I do?